It's been 4 years since Kartik Sharma took over as the Chief Executive Officer of Omnicom Media Group. A lot has happened since then, including a global pandemic. To get a finer understanding of the sweeping changes in the media landscape and at Omnicom Media Group, we have Kartik with us in the studio for this episode of Media Dialogues with Storyboard 18. So let's get straight into it. Hello and welcome to the studio, Kartik. It's absolutely wonderful to have you here today with us.
Very happy to be here, Delshad.
And I've heard this about you, Kartik, that you're one of the most sort of reticent CEOs in the media business. So I'm hoping to sort of get you to reveal a few things about your thought process and your strategies. Beginning with, it's been 4 years since you took over. You've just recently celebrated your anniversary at OMG. So tell me a little bit about some of the goals that you set for yourself at that point in time, and how far along are you in that journey to achieving them? What was the benchmark that you had set?
So when I joined 4 years back with OMG in India, there were 3 or 4 simple goals I set for myself, the company in play. The first is to have a very clear vision and culture for the company. While there was some articulation around vision, the culture part of what we should do, we should not do, some work was needed in that area. And from there to now, significant progress has happened. Culture, what we stand for, is kind of codified. What are the things that we should be doing more of, what we should stay away from, that's very clear to all of us in OMG. So that's a good progress done. 2 or 3 other things, of course, business growth, which business does not want growth. So my eyes were set on how do we grow much faster than the market. The AdX market in India is growing by 12 or 13%. Can you accelerate and grow faster, higher than that?
Right.
And to that effect, yes, again, good progress has happened. Agency is only as good as its people that they have. So talent was very, very high priority for me. How do we attract great talent, and how do we also retain all the good talent that we have? So there were certain strategies which were put in place over the 4 years. They've all taken place, and consistently we've been able to attract a lot of good talent coming into OMG in India and making us stronger day by day. Last but not the least is also client retention. While growth is important, we can never forget where we've reached. We've reached here because of all our current clients. So how do we deliver on the promises that we have made to our current clients? And how do we strengthen and accelerate their growth? Because when they grow, obviously we are also going to grow.
Absolutely.
And our retention record in the last 2.5 years has been fantastic. Where clients have gone on pitches, we've retained them. So that tells a great story for what we set to do. And I think it's a journey.
Absolutely.
It's a journey that you keep looking and push yourself to achieve new and greater things for the company.
I'll get back to the point on culture codes and talent, which I think is a perennial issue, of course, in both the media side as well as the creative side of the agency business. But let me talk a little bit about, business growth. With your new businesses, wins, losses. Can you give me a little bit of a picture of how that has shaped up?
Sure.
You mentioned client retention, of course, is important. Which are the top clients that you've managed to retain, and how and why? But also, like, where's the new business coming from? What are you looking at? Are you sort of, targeting any specific categories, new businesses from those areas? What are you looking at?
We've done exceedingly well on the new business. So some of the media auditors which audit and publish, we have been growing at about 25 to 28% in terms of new business growth, which is fantastic. So if the AdX is growing at 12-13%, we are almost doubling the growth on new business. As far as newer categories or categories which we are interested in, I think conventionally the Indian AdX market has been heavily skewed towards FMCG. But over the past few years, there has been a kind of a slowdown on the FMCG spend. And our client portfolio is a slightly different mix. While we have some FMCGs, we have a different mix of, we are pretty heavy on auto, we are heavy on categories like BFSI, we're heavy on tech, many of the new emerging space. And that's where our eye is. It's not to say we will not look at FMCG, but as and when opportunities come. But newer opportunities seem to come more from the startup or certain legacy businesses which are going into complementary spaces, and that's what we are looking for. Some of the third questions around retention, we just retained a large, the global mandate for Volkswagen, which
Right.
we're very proud of. Recently, we also retained HSBC and Nivea. So it's a great thing when your current clients come back to again and again and giving you the mandate. That tells a story that's something that absolutely we're doing right for our clients.
There's, of course, it's a scramble for new business. You are on the creative side of the business. We are seeing a lot of undercutting happening. People are really sort of, they want business. But let me also ask you this, because I know a little bit about, how you look at new business and pitches. So what do you look for in your clients? Culture is important to you. That's something that was a sort of a priority for you when you joined.
Yep.
So when you look at clients then, does that sort of reflect in your approach to, either pitching, getting new business?
Yeah. See, when we look for, like, clients look for agencies to deliver various solutions. They have their own processes, filters on which agency will make the cut. Similarly, when we look for new clients, it's not that any and every client we will just go and sign up. We have to be a bit careful, because firstly, what is the value that we are going to bring to that client is a question which we keep asking ourselves. In most categories, we are able to do that. Sometimes we are unable to take a client because of either conflict reasons. Culture is extremely important. We want to work for clients who are pushing us for the right reasons. At the same time, also helping us to help them in the bargain, so that we can do our job effectively to deliver for them. And if we find that there is some culture mismatch between the way clients are dealing with agencies, that's a red flag. And we have to go back to the drawing table and really think that such type of clients do we really need. So it's a mix of various things, and of course, clients' ability to pay agencies on time, because eventually we also have to pay media owners on time. So we don't want to default on our commitments to media owners. And clients with good track record is very important of paying the agencies and media on time. So there are multiple factors that we look for when, and culture of course is one. Also, there are very large clients wherein we will be able to add value, and in the bargain, clients also add value back to us, right? We are learning something new. It's a two-way street, right? We are learning new processes, new ways of working. So all those factors are kept in mind while choosing a client.
Absolutely. Let me also ask you, Kartik, what are some of the areas going forward that you are investing in? You have the content practice, your focus on sport. Where are you seeing that growth happening, and where are you sort of fueling that growth by investing more people, skills, upskilling, whatever it is? What are some of the areas that you're looking at to invest more in?
There are a couple of priorities, both external and internal. Let me start by giving you a sense of what we do for clients. For clients, the single most thing is growth for them, and the way to think about growth is effective solutions for them. While the world is worried too much about efficiency, lower rates and lower costs, the real solution lies on how effectively you can deliver. And effectiveness is the force multiplier. If you do it well, globally, Omnicom is known to be one of the best effective agency in forums like FEs. That's a testament of our group thinking on delivering effectiveness for our clients. So that's something that we want to continue to do in India. Second is both internal and external, where talent, as we started speaking about, is very important. So there are a lot of training programs that we deliver for our teams, because whatever upskilling you do in a day and age where it is getting complex day and day, and daily you have to be there. So there are weekly training programs, there are monthly training programs, there are training programs which happen outside of India. So there are different levels of people go through that training. Equally important in a digitally wired world, certifications become extremely important. All the big platform certifications. In fact, yesterday we were the first agency in India to be certified on Meta's marketing science practice. It's quite a tough certification to get, and that unlocks a lot of advantages for clients. So we look and spend a lot of time thinking about, training, certification for people so that our teams are up to date,
Right.
able to deliver the best value for clients. Talking of new lines of practices or practices which complement our core business, there are three areas I would say. One, you spoke of content. A content practice has significantly grown over the last 4 years. And how do we embed content either in form of IP creation, of influencer? There's a bunch of things which we are doing on content.
Okay.
And all our clients are getting great value out of that. We also measure what we do on content through independent parties so that it is repeatable. It's not a one-off thing. So we are able to take the best practice again and again. Sports, as far as India is concerned, is a relatively new entry for us. We launched it in 2023. Started doing exceedingly well with a couple of marquee projects that we started doing, and more you will hear on the sports practice. We believe India is in the cusp. It's a sporting nation. While cricket is important, there are many other sports which are just going to explode. We are seeing that early trends. All those trends may not necessarily be reflected today on purely television viewership, but we are seeing on ground what is happening. We are listening, we are going and meeting academies, we are doing a bunch of things. So the entire gamut of sports, right from sponsorship to consulting, we are able to provide it in a very seamless fashion. The last bit where we are putting a lot of energies in our own product, which is around Omni, which is
the platform, the agency platform.
The platform which delivers. And one of the areas where we are, of course, it's a bunch of things inside Omni you're able to do, but the focus is finally on effectiveness. How do you, when you are activating everything inside Omni, how does it deliver on a client's business? So a simple case could be, should I do TV, digital, print, radio? What is the combined impact? What is the individual impact, combined impact on a client's business on a ROI basis? So if I put $1 or 1 rupee, how much am I getting back? That's a lot of data science and computation one has to do, which we are able to do and go back to client and actually produce a scorecard. So those are three areas which all of eventually helping our client's business, but also strengthening our own teams.
So let's zoom out a little bit at this point in time and just talk about the media landscape a little bit. We're seeing, of course, immense fragmentation happening. TV, CTV, digital, influencer marketing. I mean, it's absolutely mind-boggling sometimes. Tell me, where are you seeing, this either sort of this growth, exponential growth happening, and how are you looking? How are you seeing your clients reacting to that? TV, print, digital, CTV, where is all the action?
Okay. If you look at it from an AdX perspective, there are certain media which is growing faster. The digital, for example, is accelerating. But when you come to a client-specific solution, there are various mental models and legacy thinking either a client carries or even the agency carries. In certain categories, for example, there's a popular narrative, print is dead, print doesn't work. I disagree with that view because we have, and why we should disagree with the views, we have to measure it. It's not just an opinion.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
We have to measure it and say, hey,
yeah.
And that's where my earlier point when I alluded to you, unless you don't measure it, you can't make a sweeping statement, a particular medium is dead or growing or whatever it is. From an AdX perspective, probably India is in such a phase that most of the categories, most of the media will grow in various proportions. Somebody will grow at a single digit, somebody will grow at a double digit. But let's say the combination of media choices, because of the complexity which the consumer is going through, unless you don't measure, you will not be able to figure out what is working. And that's something we spend a hell of a lot of money, and that is at the heart of effectiveness. It is not about chasing just pure reach and lowest cost. That I think that era is gone. The complexity, for example, what we say is, if TV does not just help you build a brand, but TV may also assist on search, and search may actually assist on print. So this combination, I'm giving a very simple example of just 3 media. You extend this to any media. For example, we have seen cases where TV impacts outdoor. And outdoor obviously is not the best measured media yet. Yes, there are some measurement, but it tells the story of how can you combine various media to deliver the best results, and what combination, what proportion, what is the ROI each one is giving. That's where
That calibration.
the calibration to
Yes.
where we obviously we use data science, the best in class models to answer it, and otherwise it's just opinion, right? We can all have opinions. I feel, somebody
hot
else
takes.
feels, but this is measured. You can kind of repeat this multiple times and see what are the results over time. For example, different media combinations, does it change over time?
Right.
What I believed a year back, is it still holding true? You can measure it. And that's why we spend a lot of time thinking about that and what is therefore the impact on business. Because if I can save $1, a rupee for my client, it's $1 earned. So the client, typically when you are able to save money through this, client has two choices. He or she can reinvest in business and try and grow the top line, or you can take it as a profit before tax. So it actually impacts the client's business.
Absolutely.
So this is a important distinction that we make in our mind and saying, hey, we are impacting the client's business through all the things that we are trying to do on media.
And just let me just sort of zoom in on CTV, for instance. Given the skew that you have with your clients, especially in auto and luxury, what are you seeing happening on CTV? What are clients looking for? What are some of the solutions that perhaps you are thinking of?
So CTV,
how is it sort of playing into the media plans and strategies?
So CTV, for many of the luxury brands or brands which are looking at the top end of the consumer segment, there's a lot of experimentation which is going on. The experimentation starts by saying, hey, let's do a small proportion of a budget. And then there are strategic ways in which certain clients are doing over a period of time. We never go and tell a client start very big. It's always test and learn, because different categories and different consumer cohorts react differently. And we, again, it goes back to the question of what you are measuring, what is the impact. Yes, there are segments where only a CTV kind of component may work much harder than some other media choices. But the solutioning that we provide is bespoke. It is not one size fits all. So I cannot take one client solution on one category and just say, okay, this will work here. Because that era is gone. That overgeneralization and saying, hey, this will paint the entire category with one brush is not going to work. There are bespoke solutions which are needed, which is what we create.
Okay, speaking about measurement, Kartik, let me quickly just get your opinion, hot take, whatever you want to call it, on this, on the debate about ratings agencies, multiple, single, BARC. What is your take on it? What's the best way forward? What's best for the client?
It's a very good question, and it's not a easy one. Again, one side. Okay, let's have one rating agency or one multiple agency. You can argue both ways. The advantage of having a single agency is almost it's behaving like almost like a currency. The cost can be lower. But if a single agency is not able to provide that, we have no choice but to start looking at more than one. It's a simple commercial choice of, can you afford one agency to do it, or do you need multiple agencies to do it? The second thing is, we are all reacting to the media choices of today. Nobody knows the media choices of the future, what the complexity it will happen. So it is good to, the real answer is somewhere in between. You experiment. You do one, the best way is saying, okay, if one agency were to do everything, and if you have multiple agencies, one agency doing is obviously easy to read, right? So you're going to one platform and trying to measure everything. Obviously easy, probably cost lesser. But there are also many benefits of working with multiple currencies. The industry has always worked with multiple currencies, either direct currencies or some kind of proxy currency. It's not new to us.
Right.
So we'll have to weigh the pros and cons of both. The answer is somewhere in between. It's also is a practical answer of what the industry can afford. The industry can't afford, then it's just a nice question to know, and we will debate this. But but there is a commercial angle to it, right? Somebody has to pay that measurement,
right?
And today India has the talent to do that measurement. That's absolutely no doubt in my mind. It's just the issue of who's going to pay for it, and that money that you're going to pay and the rewards that you're going to get, are they commensurate? I think the market will find, in a market like India, the solutions eventually it will emerge. There will be maybe a new player who has thought of a very different way to capture the same information. India is a land of entrepreneurs, right? So we have to grant to them. And somewhere my answer is it's not A versus B, somewhere in between.
Fair enough. That's a good point. Let's see what emerges. One last question, Kartik. We've had, of course, it's been a bumper year. Elections, IPL, T20 World Cup, H1 has been packed. We'll be getting into the great Indian festive season. What's your outlook for the season? What are you sort of hoping to see in terms of media spends, and where do you think you'll see those spends coming from?
Yeah. Okay. In the H1, I would think, at least for our portfolio of clients, it was a bit of cautious optimism. H2, I think, is far more optimistic. We are seeing clients are waiting for the festive seasons to happen because many of the events which could change. So election was one big question mark, who will come to power, so on and so forth. I think people are just waiting for the budgets to happen soon. And generally now the mood is more upbeat than the first half of the year, at least for our set of clients. And definitely the season of all the festivities which are around the corner, I think we'll have a much better H2. Second point is that India is as a country, the narrative is now we have at least a stable government. We're going to see a new India growth, maybe 6%, maybe 7% GDP. India probably is the only country in the world which is giving this level of optimism and hope. If you see any other country, even global markets, be it US, UK, the sentiment is not the same. So it's great to be born Indian and great to be here. And I'm an eternal optimist. I think I'm looking for H2, which is going to smash it this year.
An eternal optimist.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Kartik. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
It's a pleasure of mine too. Thank you so much.